Hello, everybody, and welcome to Eve Basics. How's it going? We're doing Tech 1 Industry today. There's a lot of stuff in industry. It's very deep and complex, so we're going to get into some of the basics. So, let's say I want to build a thing. You can design your own ship and pretty much produce all of it yourself if you want to. So here is the deal with how industry works. All Tech 1 production, as far as I've ever seen, is based all on the minerals that you can mine. So things like tritanium, isogen, mexilon, noxium. There's a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my head. But they're the basic minerals that reprocess from various ores that you find around. And they're pretty cheap and they're all over the place. Let's talk about what we want to do if we want to build something. First, we have to find a blueprint for it. Blueprints for most Tech 1 stuff are sold just by NPCs in various stations scattered throughout all over the place. So I'm going to start building antimatter charge for this guy because I'm using a ton of it and I always want it because it's ammo and it goes away. So I like to make more of it. It's something I'm always finding that I need. And wouldn't it be great if I could just make it myself instead of having to buy it off the market? So first thing I do is I go into the regional market. I'm in Dodixie right now. And I type in antimatter charge S. We're going to make S. And then click the blueprint up here and they'll tell you where they're selling them. Now you'll notice that the prices on these are rather hilarious. They're all exactly the same. And there's one of these blueprints in all these stations. Now, sometimes people try to do crazy stuff. They'll try to buy these blueprints and then put them back up for sale. This one's only up for 100 ISK more. Well, what a profiteer. But sometimes they will try to kind of dupe you with this stuff, meaning they'll buy a 100,000 ISK blueprint and put it back on sale for 1 million or 100 million just to screw with the numbers. Got to be really careful. So there turns out there's a blueprint for this right in the Dodixie Moon 20 station here. Sometimes you got to fly all over the place. It's not always this convenient to get these blueprints. In fact, if you're looking to build stuff that's not of your race, so a lot of the Gallente stuff is around the Dodixie-ish area. And but if you want to build something like projectile turret stuff or a lot of the armor stuff is not around Dodixie, you need to go elsewhere for those blueprints. So sometimes it's kind of a pain to get them. And sometimes what people will do is they will go there, they'll buy it, and they'll put it up for sale in Dodixie. So it'll be more expensive that way, but at least you won't have to jump 15, 16, 17 jumps to go get it. If you don't like that kind of thing, then you can spend a little extra ISK and just usually find stuff in Dodixie. But just know that all the blueprints that the NPCs sell will usually look like this. It's all just the same price over and over and over and over. Just watch your numbers carefully. Don't let people fool you. So I sort by jumps when I'm looking for this just so I can get it. So we're going to buy this. And it's going to drop into our item hanger. Now, in my item hanger here, I'm going to put it into my Atron because we are going to, well, I have a bunch of other stuff in here too. I just took a run over to get all this projectile turret stuff just for fun. I really want to build these 250mm light artillery cannons for some electrical abyss runs that I've been doing. And I can't find them on the market in Dodixie, so I decided to just build them myself. So the next thing you do once you've got your blueprint and you want to make this thing, you can right click it and say show info. This will tell you what you need in order to build it. Okay, so here's how this works. If you highlight this little yellow thing, this is the manufacturing window here. This will tell you if you make a run of this blueprint, you will get 100 antimatter charge S, and it will cost you 204 tritanium, 17 pyrite, and 1 noxium in order to make this, in order to make 100 of these things. So what we can do here is they have a handy buy all button here. So if you want to just buy the stuff to make it, you can grab this up and it'll do it. And let's make like, I don't know, 10 runs of this or something like that. And so this will be all the stuff we need for it. Will it fit in my Atron? Yep. And we're just going to buy it. And we're going to put it into our Atron along with this stuff. Now, a lot of times what you'll do is you'll be stockpiling minerals anyway. You won't have to necessarily buy order them, especially if you're mining a little bit. You should have decent stockpiles of tritanium and anything else you can find in high sec. Tritanium, well, it's all different now, so I don't have it memorized anymore. Tritanium, pyrite, isogen, and Mexilon as well. But you'll have to buy the Noxium unless you can find it, unless you're mining in who knows where these days. After the mineral shakeup, it's all crazy. So now in my cargo hold, I have my blueprint that I need, and I have my minerals that I need. So what we need to do next is find a place to make this stuff. So we are going to go open the industries here, and we're going to go to the facilities tab in here. Now, when you're looking for sort of an industry hub, whatever you choose, wherever you choose to do this, is where you should keep a decent amount of your blueprints, and all of your minerals that you mine and things should go there too, just so you're always ready to make something. There are a lot of different skills associated with industry. You can explore those on your own. They're all under production. Not all of them, but the main ones. Industry being the main one. This lets you do stuff faster, and it unlocks other stuff. Mass production allows you to have more jobs going at once. So if I'm making antimatter charge, it will eat up one of my manufacturing job slots here. So they're really nice, and they tell you exactly what to max out if you want more. If you want to be able to run more jobs at the same time, you want to max out your mass production and your advanced mass production. Science jobs, we'll talk about that later. And reactions we won't talk about in this video. But so here's what you're looking for in the facilities that you choose. All right, sort this by jumps first and foremost, because out of Dodixie, it's a nice trade hub. So if you're going to try to sell stuff out of Dodixie, you might as well find a industrial station that's close, and that way you don't have to jump too much to bring your stuff to the trade hub and sell it. Now, I'm not saying that's your goal, but if it is, whatever your plan is with industry, figure out the most efficient way to make it work. So what we're looking for is a station that can not only do manufacturing, but can also do material efficiency research, time efficiency research, copying, and invention we won't go into. This is for Tech 2. So that's a more advanced thing and gets very confusing. So you're looking for the first four, but this fifth one almost always comes with it. Not all the time. Little Fortizar down here doesn't have the capability to do invention. But if you're choosing it and you plan to go into Tech 2 eventually or want to mess around with it, then for sure find one that has invention. Most of this stuff, you can kind of look at this. So there's two that are really close to me. Both of these stations are within one jump, and they are both player-owned stations. There are very few actual NPC stations that offer all of this stuff. The closest one to Dodixie, I think, is Alpha 5, I want to say. This is just a Federal Intelligence Office station that offers all this stuff. Now, the problem with the regular station here is that it has no real bonuses to it, and the tax is pretty high for a station like this. Not too bad, but it doesn't offer any bonuses, whereas the player stations are always better. They're just plain better. Look at this Raitaru up here. If we want to... No, look at this Sotayo. If we want to do material efficiency research in this thing, it will be twice as fast. Negative 50% job duration. And it'll cost 15% less. So this is just... You'll get your research done faster and better, and it'll just be a thing of beauty compared to the NPC stations. So we are going to go set up in here. So job duration modifier minus your stuff will make a third faster. It's 1% more material efficient, which is really nice. Costs 1% less stuff than it says it does. And the structure roll bonus minus 5% job cost. Not a huge deal for Tech 1 stuff, but eventually that could add up. So we're going to set up in Botane. So I'm gonna right click and set destination, and we are going to head out there with our little cargo hold full of stuff. This will be just a couple quick jumps, and we will be docking at the Sotayo. So while we're flying, this is a decent time to talk about this. Okay, so these are called Blueprint Originals. They are dark blue, and if you take a look at them right up there, I can't point to it while I'm here, but it says 650 millimeter artillery cannon 1, estimated. This is how much the blueprint cost. It doesn't really have anything to do with how much it costs to make these things. And this says original, and then it says infinite runs. That means you can make infinite amounts of 650 millimeter artillery cannon ones off of this blueprint, this specific blueprint. And so, you can use this blueprint forever. It never wears out. And this little thing under it's got this diamond looking icon. It says 0%. That means I have 0% research towards material efficiency. That can go as high as 10%, which means that in order to produce one of these 650 millimeter artillery cannons, it will cost you 10% less material. In other words, 10% less ore to make it. So you're basically just getting more stuff for free. Here, look, we're docked up. And the little hourglass icon there says 0%. That can go as high as 20%. That is how long it takes to make one of these. So you can make it take 20% less time if you put some research into that. And I'll show you how to do that, but this alt has just awful skills, and I already have one science job running. So these are both science jobs. The material efficiency research and the time efficiency research are both science jobs. So if we go into here, we can see that I can have one total science job, and I have one science job running. So I'm all full up on science jobs. If I look in here, we can see that I'm researching my material efficiency on my oxygen fuel block blueprint because I want to make a bunch of those. And so let's take a look at what's going on here. Okay, so in order to use stuff, I have to put it into the item hanger here. So we're just going to take all this stuff, we're going to dump it into the item hanger, because we trust this place. This place has been here for a long time. And now what we can do is owned by me, and we'll say current station, and it'll find the stuff that's in here, and it'll kind of line up here. It doesn't care about my minerals. It doesn't know those are here. That's not really part of this. So here's all the blueprints that I have in this station, and I can make any of these things that I want to. So let's look at the antimatter charge blueprint. So there's 4 different things I can do with it here. I'm not sure why invention's not available. Did I? I'm wondering if that's a little weird to me. Maybe somebody knows. You can leave me a comment why I can't invent. Oh, I know why I can't. Because we'll talk about that in a second. Man, I feel like a noob. Maybe we'll just edit this part out. Take 2. So with my antimatter charge blueprint, I can click here, and this will load it in to be made. This icon here will load it in for material efficiency research, meaning I can do this up to 10 times here. That will max it out at 10% material efficiency. This will take 1 day and 7 hours to complete, and it will cost a total of about 8,000 ISK to do that. But every time I make a run of Antimatter Charge S, it'll be 10% less expensive than normal. So this is probably worth it, but if you can wait like a day and 7 hours, that's great. Time efficiency, not as important of a thing to pump on all your stuff unless you're really trying to crank ships and modules out. Again, if I max this out, this will go, it's 10 runs, but each run gives me 2%. This will end up at 20%. And this takes a day and 7 hours, just like the other one, a little less expensive. Wowzer. And this is copying. This will create what's called a blueprint copy. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It will create an exact copy of this blueprint. And instead of having infinite runs, like this one has, I can make infinite runs of this. If I make a copy of it, I can make a copy, one copy that has 600 runs on it, which is still quite a bit. Why would you make copies, you ask? Well, a couple different reasons. If you have a really high value blueprint that you've put a lot of time into beefing up the material and time efficiency of, you can make copies of it. The copies will share the same material efficiency and time efficiency, and then you can sell the copies in the contracts. The other thing that you could do with blueprint copies is you could put them into a separate station. So in other words, if you wanted to make Antimatter Charge S in a bunch of different places, and you want to have it going all over the place, you can do that without having to research the material efficiency and the time efficiency on different blueprint originals. You can just do it on one of them and then make a bunch of copies of it. They'll share the same attributes, and you can scatter them throughout the galaxy to your heart's delight. So I can make a bunch of, I can make 500 blueprint copies. These is 500 different blueprint copies that each have 600 runs, and I can scatter them through 500 different systems. But that seems like overkill. That also takes over a year to do, and you can't do that. So you can't run something that's more than 30 days for whatever reason, although I don't know why. So the other thing you do with Blueprint copies is you invent off of them, which is why this isn't lit up, because I can't invent off the original. You have to invent off copies. We will deal with that in a different video. So I'm not going to material efficiency research or time this right now. I don't have enough open job slots to do it. And so we're just going to make this thing. Now, a lot of times for your organizational sanity, you're going to want to, in your industry station, you're going to want to make a bunch of station containers. All right. So I actually suggest doing that with the station container blueprint and just pumping out station containers in here, 5, 6 or so, just to organize your stuff. Blueprints in one, items you want to sell in another one, maybe ammo and paste and charges, just some way to sort of organize all your stuff, because there's like a billion stuff. And you need to stay organized in this game. Otherwise, it's just a big mess. So station container blueprint, let's say I want to make station. The reason I say to make station containers instead of try to haul them in is because they're absolutely gigantic. And the blueprint, see, here's some dudes, right? They bought these for 180,000, and they're trying to sell them in Dodixie for 3 mil, 3.2 mil. It might work, it might not. Otherwise, you got to go 5 whole jumps to save yourself like 3 million ISK, probably worth to get one of these blueprints, and then you can haul it back. The blueprint, once it's installed, you just pump minerals into it and make station containers. Otherwise, they're pretty big, and so you have to haul them around. It's kind of a pain. So I would say make them, but we're going to do this. So when you make a thing, it will line up the stuff that you need to make it over here. Let's just make one run. So it tells me in order to make one run of this, I need 202 titanium, 17 pyrite, and 1 noxium. It will also tell me how many I have in the station. So right now I have 2040. I only need 202 of it. I have 170 of this. I only need 17. And I have 10 of this, and I only need 1. So if these bars are all blue, then I can make it. So I said I wanted to do 10. I bought enough for 10. But if I go to 11, uh-oh, everything's orange. I can't do it. I don't have enough stuff. And we knew that was going to happen. The other thing you can do in here is you can hover over this, and it will tell you the total estimated price of materials you're going to pop into this thing. Now again, this is just an estimate. It's usually reasonably accurate. Don't let people fool you and be like, these are just whatever. It's pretty good, okay? About 28,000 minerals for this region you're going to pump into it. And this one, if you pump it out, it's about 23,800 if worth of stuff. So you're putting in about 28.5 to get 23.8. This will get better with material efficiency, and again, this usually looks a bit worse than it actually is for you. You also have to factor in the total job cost, 1,000 ISK, not too bad. There's 2 things that you have to tell it what to do. You have to tell it where your input materials are located. In this case, we only have one place, which is our item hanger, and sure enough, there they are. And you have to tell it where you want it to put this thing. If you're organizing stuff, there will be more station containers drop down. But for now, it's just going to go into our item hanger, and we're going to start the job. And now it says manufacturing jobs 1 of 4. Well, how do you like that? So we go to jobs, and we can see that it is indeed producing 10 runs of the antimatter. And it's going to take like a half hour, and then they're going to pop out, and we'll have 1,000 of this ammo to just, do whatever we want with. So one more quick thing I forgot to mention. When it is done being made, it will not automatically pop out. You have to click deliver. Now, I've flown back to Dodixie in the meantime, and I just thought about this now. So if I click deliver, it yells at me. It says, you're too far away from the facility to modify this job. And then it says, oh, your current skills in supply chain management only allow me to remotely manage things up to 0 jumps away. So that means I'd have to be right in the in Botane, in this Satayo station, to deliver this, unless I research, unless I get skills in whatever it was yelling at me about. Scientific networking. No, supply chain management is what it is for manufacturing, because we're manufacturing this. It would be scientific networking. So, if you do want to manage your stuff remotely, make sure you pick up those 2 skills as well. At least 2nd or 3rd level of those is pretty good for how far away you can get, but obviously max them out as you need to. So this won't actually be in your item hanger until you click deliver. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. It'll pop out in this station in the item hanger like we told it to. You can do this with any blueprint. So the website that I use to find blueprints that aren't local is called Eve Tycoon. You can use Eve Marketer. I think whatever you can find that tells you where stuff is. I wanted to build these the other day. I couldn't find the blueprints anywhere near me, so I typed it into here and said this, and it tells me what region and where they are that you can get these things. Garistas testing facility. Oh no, that seems dangerous. But don't go get that one. That's just crazy bonkers. It's like a bunch in Jita for like 199. So again, people are just they're doing is they're going to buy these for 120,000, dragging them over to Jita, and then selling them at a profit because then you don't have to necessarily fly all over the place. This Jita is a big trade hub. But for 120,000, and I think it was only like 15 jumps out here, I was able to go get this. And the biggest tip is if you're going to get something like this far away, odds are good there are a lot of other artillery cannon-y type stuff around there, which is what I did. So what I did when I took the run to get this one, I just bought all the other stuff that I knew was going to be very region specific. All these other projectile turrets, I knew that they were going to be out there in that region as well. So if you're going to take a trip for one blueprint, try to plan ahead and get other stuff too. It's just a good tip. And I just noticed, I forgot about this. I have 20 tritanium in here and 1 pyrite left over, but I bought the exact amount that I needed. So this is what's left over from the 1% bonus from this player station that I'm in. So it actually costs about 1% less than normal. And so that saved me a little bit of money just by making it here. Even with no material efficiency research, I still saved a little bit of minerals. So that is the basics of Tech 1 industry. So make sure if you want to do industry, you pump the correct skills so that you can have lots of jobs going at the same time. I only made 10 runs of Antimatter S, so that's only going to take a pathetic half hour. But if you're pumping out a lot of stuff and you're doing a lot of material and time efficiency research, you can have loads of stuff going in here for hours or possibly even days at a time. So, you know, if you want to do industry, max those skills out as best you can. I find a lot of satisfaction in designing a ship fit and being able to build all the pieces of it because I've gathered all the blueprints and I've researched them down so they're efficient and time efficient, and building all the parts of it and mining all the ore to build all the parts of it. You can really go from 0 to 100 all by yourself without having to rely on the market at all to build really good Tech 1 ships. And I find that really satisfying. That's Tech 1 Industry. Thanks for watching Eve Basics. Like and subscribe. Hope you have a great day.